Have you ever wondered what lurks in the shadows of your state? What do you even do when you come face to face with a creature from folklore? We're going to continue to investigate and try to find out in this third installment of the most terrifying cryptids from every US state. What's up YouTube, Gemini Jonny back again with the third installment of the most terrifying cryptid from every state. If you missed the first two, I'll link those at the end of the video and you can go watch that after this. But don't worry, you don't have to watch them in order, they're all going at random, thanks to my handy dandy wheelie boy. 20 states down, 30 to go. Let's see what the wheel has in store for us today. Show me what you've got.
Show me what you got.
Maine, listen here. All right, let's do Maine. In Maine, we have the specter moose, which might actually just be a white moose, to be fair. I don't know if this is a cryptid, but they consider it one. So what are you gonna do? The specter moose is a ghostly white moose that has been spotted in the forests of Maine. Larger than any known moose, it's said to have a shimmering, almost transparent appearance. This photo's a little derpy, but that's our specter moose. Its strengths are its immense size, obviously making it a formidable presence in the forest, and it seems to be able to disappear and appear at will. Maybe the moose is also interdimensional. Did you ever think of that? I believe this is just a photo of an albino moose, but I'm pretty sure this is what the specter moose would look like. Maybe a little more glowy. Any weaknesses for the specter moose are unknown, as it is elusive and doesn't interact with humans. If you spot the specter moose, it's best to observe from a safe distance. It's a benign, mystical creature that poses no direct threat.
Maine, renowned for its rugged coastline and dense forests, harbors a spectral mystery within its wilderness, the legend of the specter moose. This ghostly creature has haunted hunters and hikers for over a century, making it one of the state's most captivating cryptids. The tale dates back to the early 1900s, with reports describing a colossal moose standing over 10 feet tall at the shoulder, adorned with antlers stretching up to 12 feet. Yet, what distinguishes this moose is its ethereal, ghostly white appearance. Imagine venturing through the woods and encountering this immense spectral beast. The first sighting was documented in 1901 by Clarence Duffy, a hunter in the Chesuncook region. He recounted seeing a moose so immense and ghostly that it seemed to shimmer in the morning light. Duffy's account was followed by numerous reports from other hunters and woodsmen who claimed similar sightings. Throughout the early 20th century, sightings persisted, particularly around Lobster Lake and the Roach River.
Lobster Lake
often described the moose as glowing faintly, moving silently through the forest as if weightless. Some even asserted seeing it vanish into thin air. The specter moose remains elusive, appearing fleetingly before disappearing into the thick woods. Encounters evoke both awe and fear, with some hunters' dogs refusing to follow its trail, adding to its eerie reputation. Skeptics argue it might be an albino moose or a case of mistaken identity, yet consistent descriptions and its spectral qualities sustain the legend. Some locals perceive it as a forest spirit, a guardian of the wilderness. Despite the mystery, efforts to track or capture the creature have yielded no tangible evidence. Instead, the specter moose thrives in Maine's folklore, shared around campfires, recounted in storytelling events, and celebrated during Halloween. This tale melds the eerie with the mystical, enchanting the imaginations of all who hear it. Like and follow for more.
I didn't even know lobsters could live in a lake. That's crazy. One thing you have to keep in mind with, like, especially these that they started in like the early 1900s, these people, they probably didn't, they might not have even known that an albino moose could exist. So maybe it's just an albino moose that they were seeing and they were like, oh, it's gotta be ghostly or otherworldly or something. I don't know, interesting, nothing else. Oh, and this was haunting.history with an IE instead of a Y at the end.
Maine is home to the specter moose, a 10 to 15 foot tall, depending on the account, dirty white moose with massive antlers. The coat of the animal was said to glow faintly. It also had well-developed senses of smell and hearing, could disappear at will, and phase through solid objects. It was first sighted by a hunter named M.A. Cushing in 1901 near Cherriback Mountain. It was witnessed by other hunters over the intervening months near Mount Katahdin. Similar groups of encounters were reported over the course of a handful of months in 1917, 1932, and finally in 1938. The impression I've gotten from the stories is that it does not harm hunters but likes to mess with them.
So once again, we've got one of these cryptids that can seemingly phase through solid objects, and I assume traverse dense woods with ease, just like all these other ones. Just saying, man, all this overlap, it just, you know, if we've got shapeshifters out there somewhere, maybe this is one of its shapes it shifts into. Somebody in the comments did say it's called a Wendigo and it messes with hunters, which we talked about in episode 2, I think? Maybe the first one? First episode. of this series, which we talked about in the first episode of the series. But yeah, if they can shapeshift, they can probably shapeshift into nothing for a second and phase through a wall or woods or whatever they want to. Just saying, man, it's weird that all these things can seemingly be unencumbered by solid objects. Weird thing, I don't know. So what do you think about the specter moose up in Maine? You think this is a shape-shifting alien cryptid hybrid type of thing that doesn't really care about the laws of physics as we understand them? Or is there just an albino moose running around the woods up there freaking people out? Also, side note, have you ever seen a moose? These things, I thought they were the size of cows, dude. They're huge. They're like bigger than a horse. They are like 10 feet tall anyway. So I don't know. They say like 10 to 15 feet tall. Like that's some crazy stat for a moose to be, but I think that's how big they are. Let's see. All right. So no, it's not. They're not quite 10 to 15 feet tall. They're an average of 6.5 to 7 feet tall at the shoulder though. And they've got another 3 feet of head, right? Or neck. So they're close to 10 feet tall. It's crazy. But I did see it says a bull's antlers can reach a width of 5 to 6 feet. A male moose antlers can be as wide as an average human male is tall. That's wild. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the specter moose. What a beautiful creature it is either way. And with that, bring me back my wheel. Let's see what we got next. All right, William, what you got for me? Wheel I Am of the Black Eyed Peas. Oklahoma, that's where I was born. All right. I will say I don't remember recognizing the one from Oklahoma, and that's where I'm from, so there's that. Home of the Oklahoma octopus, which I understand your confusion being that Oklahoma is a landlocked state, but this is allegedly out in the lakes out there, which is wild. In the lakes that let's get into it. The Oklahoma octopus is an aquatic cryptid said to inhabit several lakes, including Lake Thunderbird and Lake Oologah, which I've been to both of those lakes multiple times. So glad I didn't get eaten up by a freaking giant octopus. Described as a massive octopus, it reportedly has reddish-brown skin and long, powerful tentacles. As you might assume, it is a swift swimmer and can reportedly pull unsuspecting swimmers beneath the water. So if you're in Lake Oologah or Lake Thunderbird out in Oklahoma, you might want to wear your floaties. Just saying. This was listed on some website as, an alleged artist interpretation of the Oklahoma octopus, but I can confirm with 100% certainty that neither Lake Oologah or Lake Thunderbird are even close to that clear. You can't see your hand in front of your face if you're under the water. So I don't know who's seeing the octopus, but you're not seeing it through the water. I'll tell you that. Again, no known weaknesses as this creature has never been directly observed and it remains elusive, likely dwelling deep in the lakes. In order to avoid the Oklahoma octopus, it's best to avoid swimming alone or at night in Oklahoma lakes. And if you see something in the water, get to the shore immediately. There's a much friendlier looking Oklahoma octopus, although he does look a little grumpy, but that's fun. And then this fun little nod to Jaws. That's cool. I like that. I thought that was cool. This is also yet another cryptid that you can get a fun little plushie of. And I'm not sure, I've been finding these for almost every cryptid. I think someone has like an Etsy shop or something where they sell cryptid plushies. And if that's the case, if you're curious about where these plushies are, just search the name of any of these cryptids, go with Oklahoma octopus, and then just go to images and you'll see this there. It's one of the like top images. So if you're wanting a cryptid plushie, go get your own. Maybe I'll make some someday. That'd be kind of cool. Would you guys buy cryptid plushies if I put them out? Pretty sure you have to bulk order those. You can't just like do those make to order. So that would be an investment for sure. I would need to know people are going to buy those. Anyway, and you know TikTok's got us. Let's go.
Octopus is an urban legend that claims a giant octopus-like creature inhabits several man-made lakes in Oklahoma. According to the legend, this creature has reddish-brown skin, long tentacles, and an insatiable appetite for unsuspecting swimmers.
Okay, I know people hate it when I pause in the middle of these videos, and I'm sorry, but do people know how lakes work? Like, are these lakes connected? Okay, I looked it up. They are technically connected by like rivers and creeks and stuff, but is this giant octopus swimming through creeks and rivers to get to other lakes? That's what I don't understand. Or are there multiple octopi in Oklahoma? Because I don't understand how this octopus is getting from lake to lake. All right, anyway, sorry.
Despite the lack of scientific evidence supporting the existence of such a creature in freshwater lakes, the myth persists, largely due to mysterious drownings and unexplained disappearances in these lakes. Some locals believe the Oklahoma octopus is responsible for these tragic events, with stories of the beast dragging people underwater with its powerful tentacles.
What's up? How come they don't have any of these rumors around the Lake Lanier deaths? They've had like so many people drown in that lake in Georgia, and they just say it's haunted. They don't have any cryptid stories that I know of. 700 people have died since 1956 in Lake Lanier. That's nuts. It's like 16 people a year. That's like over one a month. You gotta think, I know Georgia gets seasons, so you know they're not swimming in the lake in the winter. So I mean, it's just like more than one a month throughout the summers and spring. Oh, that's crazy, man. Like, granted, it's an average, but you know, I'm sure there was some summers with a lot more, but that's, I know we're not talking about Lake Lanier, but it's just interesting how like these stories come about. Like, everything I've read about this has said there's no scientific evidence. It's never been cited. Nobody's, like, there are no sightings of this thing. So how does this story get started? So I did try to find out the origins of where this story comes from, and it's unknown. So, as with most of these, I believe. But I did learn that apparently somebody did find an octopus in a lake in Arkansas. In 2003, a man found a small red octopus in Arkansas. So, I mean, it's not impossible, I guess, that, you know, there's a giant one lurking down in the deep lakes somewhere. The Oklahoma octopus was apparently also featured on an Animal Planet show, Lost Tapes. So a lot of people believe that this is true because it was on there. Because, you know, if it's on TV, it's got to be true.
The Oklahoma octopus, mostly picked because it's just fun to say. And also, I mean, look at it. So there is a long history of man-made lakes in Oklahoma where there have been a bunch of missing people as well as drowning victims, and a lot of it has been written off to the Oklahoma octopus, an octopus that is believed to be the size of a horse, living in these man-made lakes, transferring from one to another. Now, there have never been any actual, there's no proof of it. There has not been any bodies found with suction marks. There have been a lot of eyewitnesses, but no photos or anything like that. So I think this is really fun because it's out of its element. It would not be the first octopus to be found in fresh water, nor like sharks. There's also a freshwater shark, so this could be a fun thing. And it's in those lakes. Well, why is it in those lakes? I think it's guarding something. What is it guarding? It's guarding whatever your hunters need. It's a MacGuffin guardian, which is perfect. Whether it's put there by your big bad, whether there's a special element they need or an item, whatever. And this thing is attracted by whatever this puts off, whether it's energy or heat or magic, whatever. It's there. It's guarding it, and you give it all the abilities of an octopus. You let it have suction cups. You give it high intelligence. You give it the ability to become translucent. It can fit into very, very tiny places. Having this thing chase after your hunters and be aware of them and like hiding and setting ambushes would be a ton of fun. The Oklahoma octopus.
Be curious about what he was talking about with the MacGuffin Guardian. I'd never heard of this, but in fiction, a MacGuffin is an object, device, or event that is necessary to the plot and the motivation of the characters, but insignificant, unimportant, or irrelevant in itself. Some popular examples would be the Heart of the Ocean in the Titanic, the Ring from the Lord of the Rings, Private Ryan from Saving Private Ryan, the Horcruxes in Harry Potter, the Rug in The Big Lebowski, or the Briefcase in Pulp Fiction. So I actually had to look that up. I wasn't sure, and I had to look up popular examples to get an understanding of what the hell that means. So, you know, the more you know. So what do you guys think about the Oklahoma octopus? I, for one, think he needs a better name. I vote for Odin. I think that would be a good name for him. And how about Odessa, just in case it's a lady octopus? Is this thing lurking in the depths of Oklahoma lakes? Or do people just feel something slimy rub against their leg and come up with crazy stories? And once again, I grew up in Oklahoma. I've been to both of these lakes multiple times and I have never heard of this. But it could have just been that nobody told me, so I would actually get in the water. Because somebody told me there was a giant octopus possibly swimming around out there. Wouldn't have gotten in, so. Shall we do another? Where's the wheel? Almost halfway. What you got for me, Willie boy? What's that? North Carolina. North Carolina has the Beast of Bladenboro. I think I'm saying that right. So I'm gonna say it. Okay, just kidding. It's Bladenboro. My bad. I'll say it right. The Beast of Bladenboro. At least that's what the pronunciation website said. If you live in North Carolina and I'm saying that wrong, please let me know in the comments. The Beast of Bladenboro is a large, feline-like creature that terrorized Bladenboro, North Carolina in the 1950s. It's described as a panther-sized animal with glowing red eyes and a tendency to kill livestock. Another glowing red eyes beast. It's so creepy. Its strengths are that it is fast and stealthy, able to move through the dense forest without being detected. Once again. Yeah, I think those sharp claws and razor sharp teeth might also come in handy. Those might be some strengths. I don't know why those aren't listed. Again, no known weaknesses, but despite its reputation of being a ferocious beast, it has not been documented attacking humans. So that's good. It's a nice kitty. If you suspect the Beast of Bladenboro is nearby, avoid being out at night and keep your livestock secure. If encountered, do not approach and leave the area quickly. So once again, you're going to want to just avoid this thing. As with all of these, you probably don't want to be in the same room or within the same vicinity of one of these things. But there is also the possibility that this thing could just be a Black Panther or something. Wakanda forever. Anyway, let's see what TikTok has to say.
In the 1950s, a terrifying creature stalked the small town of Bladenboro, North Carolina, slaying livestock and stirring fear. Was it a panther, cryptid, or something far more sinister? Join me as we uncover the chilling truth behind this unsolved mystery. In the dead of night, farmers would wake to find their livestock brutally killed, their carcasses drained of blood.
There's no reason to put that
Locals
on a
described
video.
seeing a large
That's a
cat-like beast with glowing eyes prowling the outskirts of town. But what was it really? Some believed it to be a panther, escaped from a circus or zoo.
Again, just the cat.
Others whispered of a
That's a
cryptid,
bear.
a creature unknown to science, lurking in the shadows. And then, there were those who feared it was something supernatural, an
It's a
entity
dinosaur.
beyond our understanding. Despite numerous sightings and organized hunts, the beast of Bladenborough was never caught. The creature
Shocker.
seemed to vanish as mysteriously as it appeared, leaving behind a legacy of fear and unanswered questions. To this day, the beast remains an enigma, a dark chapter in the annals of American folklore. Was it a wild animal or something more? What do you think the beast of
What the
Bladenborough
fuck?
could be?
The hell
A
is
wild
that?
animal or something supernatural? Share your theories in the comments below.
Oh, it's AI. Okay. It's an AI photo. Don't worry. Because I was like, what the crap is that? I think it's an AI photo. Damn, I know. Horrifying. Yeah, I mean, it does kind of sound like it might have just been a Black Panther or something. Or maybe they got hellhounds running loose in North Carolina. I don't know. I can't help but always go back to like interdimensional like crap and aliens and shapeshifters because like in my mind, they seem like they're all the same thing. And probably not. They're probably not. They're probably different entities, but there's got to be at least two different things out there, if nothing else, that with shapeshifting abilities, right? Like, every one of these can traverse through dense woods with ease. Like, that's not a trait that humans or animals have. I guess some animals can. Wild. And we've seen this girl's content before. It's underscore the paranormal chick, spelled chic, C-H-I-C. She does good content, and she apparently has her hands on a monster book, and she's talking about the beast of Bladenborough in it, so let's check it out.
We're back with episode 2 of the Monster Hunter Journal. As a quick recap, this is the monster book from the Hunter family, the Von Keepers. I am going through and sharing each and every one of its little bit of knowledge and information that they have gathered and passed down within their family of hunters. Now, again, it is up to you to believe whether this is fact or fiction, or if it's just amazing art. Either way, I'm going to share it. So we're going to start off with the beast of Bladenborough. This large cat-like beast terrorized a small town with its wailing screams and trail of blood-drained bodies.
Gross.
Most likely one of the thought to be extinct Carolina panthers, sightings have expanded to surrounding areas recently with mutilated animals and blood-curdling screams at night. It yet lives. Be wary. K. Von Kiefer. Characteristics of the beast of Bladenborough. The type, it's a cryptid. Behavior, predatory animal. Size, 6 feet long, 250 to 400 pounds. Habitat, rural, swamp, forest. Location, Bladenborough, North Carolina. Appearance, the beast of Bladenborough was reported to have been a very large, sleek, jet black animal. Some reports suggest it to have had a very feline face, while others suggest the appearance to be more wolf-like. Tracks found suggest claws in excess of 5 inches, being on par with those of a black panther. General notes. The beast had sightings not only in the town of Bladenborough, North Carolina, but in surrounding areas extending many miles in all directions, suggesting the typical pattern of a territorial hunting grounds. Local reports suggest this large cat-like beast stalked its prey, attacked, and disappeared silently back into the surrounding swamps. Victims were found with huge claw marks and a bite to the neck, which resulted in complete asphyxiation. Furthermore, no blood was found on the ground. Thus, locals began referring to it as the vampire beast. I have dealt with many vampires, and while the beast is a merciless killer, it is in no way, shape, or form to be considered vampire. Tracks found also indicate there are more than one of these on the prowl, suggesting a pack. Expedition notes. Sometimes when investigating a cryptid or a monster in a small rural town, the job can be much harder than it should be. Such is the case with the beast. The local news and bored residents turned what could have been a normal hunt into a circus. Armed hunting parties of ignorant rednecks from all over descended on this small, sleepy town. Gossip and half-truths filled the air. It made my job near impossible as people dressed in wolf outfits and stomped around the edges of the swamps. A local trapper even caught a bobcat. Truly amazing. Despite the local hoopla, I was able to get some quality research in. Tracks and the horrible, inhumane shrieking sounds at night led me deep into the swamp, far from where the hunting parties would go. For far, even their tracking dogs tucked tail and ran. My findings were interesting. There was no bobcat. This was no bobcat, nor some vampiric monster. Tracks suggest a wolf-like creature, as large cats do not leave claw marks. Based upon skeletal remains found deep in the swamps, all signs point to the beast being a relative of the canine dirus, the most famous extinct carnivore in all of North America, the dire wolf. An apex predator that even gives a werewolf a run for his money. The beast is very real and very deadly. Based on my findings, there is an elusive pack of them, and while they may have found new hunting grounds, they are most assuredly still on the prowl. So, that's the beast of Bladenborough. I also want to note that the views in this book are not my views. They come from the von Kiefer family, Christoph von Kiefer directly. So, please don't take offense, because I know there are some parts in there that some people may take offense. Please don't. This is literally a journal, a field journal of hunting paranormals. And it's interesting that he believes this is a dire wolf.
Well, first off, this book is about it's exactly $160, and this is volume 1. There's also a volume 2 that's also $160, which, you know, a hand-bound, leather-bound book is probably a pretty fair price. But unfortunately, I'm not really able to find a whole lot about Christoph von Kiefer. He's listed as Chris Kiefer as the author of that book. And I did also find a Kickstarter to get this book going back in January. I mean, I don't fully understand book publishing, to be honest. But like, if it's a journal that's been passed down in your family about the monsters that your family have been hunting, it's not like you need a front so that you can have time to pay your bills and write the book, right? Because it's a journal that's been passed down through your family, and it's real, and it's not something that you had to take 6 months to write. Very interesting. I've never heard of Christoph von Kiefer or whatever. And again, like I said, I couldn't really find a whole lot out about him, but I'm going to do some more digging and see if I can, just not right now. But I am curious if any of you have ever heard of this monster hunter. I would love to know more, or where I could find their social media or anything. Last thing I'll say about it is a real person. I know that Chris Kiefer, or whoever is using that name, is a real person, because I did find in the reviews of the book, somebody said that they met the author and that he was a lovely person. So, you know, I mean, but $160 for a book, bro. $320 for 2 books. I mean, I want it, but damn, I need somebody to give me about $500 first before I do that. The last thing I'll point out is this news clipping. Bladenborough. Officers and armed citizens hunted today for a vampire beast that has killed at least 3 dogs and left their corpses bloodless. Gross. Police Chief Roy Flores said he believed the killer was a mad wolf lurking in the wilds of Big Ray and Red Hill swamps near here. So I mean, you know, this was definitely happening. A vampire beast that left their corpses bloodless is a crazy sentence. So what are your thoughts on the beast of Bladenborough? Do we have a dire wolf running around out there in North Carolina back in the 50s? Or maybe still? The one guy did say he thought it was a pack, so maybe they're still breeding out there and they're just elusive. Or is it just a Black Panther type of animal that we are fully aware of and know all about? Let me know in the comments. But for now, bring me my wheel. Hit me one time, Willie Bo Silly. Tennessee. You're the only 10 I see. In Tennessee, we got the Tennessee Wild Man. Another Bigfoot-like creature. Those glowing red eyes. The Tennessee Wild Man is a creature similar to Bigfoot, but more aggressive. It's said to have long, dark hair, glowing eyes, and a deep, guttural scream. Its strengths are that it is incredibly strong and fast, often seen leaping through trees. And I'm not sure if they mean literally leaping through the base of a tree. I think they mean jumping from tree to tree, just to be clear. It seems to be territorial and aggressive, but its only weakness is that it tends to retreat if outnumbered. Power in numbers, baby. If you hear the wild man scream, stay away from wooded areas. If encountered, try to avoid making sudden movements, as it might provoke an attack. You don't want to be attacked by that dude. He looked mean. But this one looks so friendly. He looks like a nice guy. I'd be friends with him.
I've had several people ask if there are any dangerous cryptids in Tennessee, and indeed there are, most notably the Tennessee Wild Man. Despite having some similarities, the Tennessee Wild Man is not the same as a Sasquatch. It was first witnessed in the 19th century, where it was said to have been captured and held at a circus on display for a short time before it escaped. It's said to be around 7 to 9 feet tall, with auburn or gray fur, and one of its more notable features is its deep red eyes. It's also said to be far more human in appearance than a Sasquatch. But one feature that truly stands out about the wild man, like the skunk ape, is its smell. Those who have seen it have said that it smells like rotting flesh.
Ew.
It's also known to be incredibly aggressive.
Alright, once again, hey, leave them alone. They don't have showers, you know? We're not gonna make fun of people for their BO. You'd smell like rotting flesh too if you went 55 years without a shower or whatever.
In the 1800s, within McNairy County, Tennessee, legend has it that a humanoid beast was once caged and forced to perform at local freak shows, until one night when it burst free and took to the hills of the heartland. While many equate the wild man's appearance to Bigfoot, his true appearance is far more humanoid, resembling a 7-foot-tall human covered in hair with horrid red eyes. It is said to stalk those alone in the woods and is identifiable by its putrid odor. The creature is known to attack women and animals, and with sightings and even hunts for the creature occurring within the past decade, perhaps some humanoid heathen stalks the Tennessee hills. The wild man's fun. Yes, it has a lot of stuff in common with Bigfoot, but the reason I like it is because I grew up with a lot of stories of there's a wild man out in the woods, so, you know, don't wander too far from home or too far from camp. And just the idea of you're out in the middle of the night and you see kind of a shape in the woods and then you see these two glowing red eyes looking at you, it's scary in a fun way. It's a really cool story. It's a bit too Bigfoot adjacent for me to like throw it up at A tier, but out of nostalgia, I'll call it a B tier.
That's just the plug. He's a little weird, but he's chill though. Also, that content creator was Wendigo. If you're curious, you probably know his stuff. If you're into my stuff, you probably like his stuff. So he's one of my favorite content creators. I love his YouTube channel. So what the heck is going on in Tennessee? They got a wild dude running out around there? I've been to Tennessee. I never saw a wild man. I've only been there a couple times for a couple weeks at most, but I didn't really get out into the woods because I don't know the area. That'll be fun. I want to go hunt down the wild man. Not hunt, but you know, track him, film him in 4K, because you know, the sketches just aren't doing it for me. I need to see these things. I need to see video footage of these things. If you're in North Carolina and you've seen the wild man, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear all about it. But until then, bring me my wheel. And with this next state, we will officially be at the halfway point. State 25. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Come on, Willie Bo Silly. I said Willie Bo Silly already. Damn it. Arizona. All right, Arizona. Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California. Arizona has the Mogollon monster. I've also heard it pronounced Mogollon. Heard like 4 different ways to pronounce this. I'm not actually sure how to say it. Well, that answer was easy enough to find. The correct pronunciation of Mogollon Rim is typically Mogollon or Mogollon. It is often mispronounced by tourists as Mongolian. At least I didn't do that. All right, so Mogollon. It's the Mogollon Rim is where this thing is located. The Mogollon monster, Arizona's answer to Bigfoot, stands 7 feet tall, covered in black or reddish brown hair. It's known to haunt the pine forest of the Mogollon Rim. Its strengths are its incredible strength, agility, and a bone-chilling scream, which all make this creature particularly intimidating. But I will say he's got a great headshot. I mean, that's a good photo. Its only weaknesses are that it's highly territorial, but it's not overtly aggressive toward humans unless provoked. You should avoid its territory at all costs, particularly if you hear or see signs. If you do happen to run into the Mogollon monster, retreat calmly and avoid making any loud noises. What up, TikTok?
The Mogollon monster is a creature that terrorizes the state of Arizona. Standing over 7 feet tall, this large bipedal creature is covered in long black or reddish brown hair, with piercing red eyes and a strong, pungent odor. Reports say it's nocturnal, omnivorous, walking with wide strides, leaving behind huge footprints and throwing stones from hidden locations, with a blood-curdling scream that echoes through the woods. Interesting how similar it appears to other supposed creatures and
That's what I've been saying. Wild how these all have so much overlap. Here I found some alleged footage of the Mogollon monster screams, so that's interesting. mean, there's definitely something happening. I think we get the point. Some screams going on in the background. The comment that that was RMSO Bigfoot on TikTok. If you want to go check out his stuff, seems like he's kind of a Bigfoot hunter of some sort. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. So that's what RMSO stands for. So yeah, I would say he takes Bigfoot pretty seriously. But the only comment actually on this video says you should compare that sound to the sound of AZ elk, which is an excellent point. I would love to show these videos to a wildlife expert or somebody that's just very knowledgeable about the wildlife of Arizona. And if they don't recognize the sound of what animal that is, then I think that's highly compelling. But I have a feeling they might listen to that and be like, oh, that sounds like an elk or a bobcat or whatever, you know. This is another from the same guy, the same account, RMSO Bigfoot.
It's Rocky Mountain Sasquatch. Some amazing vocalizations were recorded by a guy named Scariest near an area famous for the Mogollon monster sightings in northeast Arizona near the Mogollon Rim. These were recorded late evening on September.
That does not help my pronunciation issues at all. Like I just said two different ways in the same sentence. Okay.
11th, 2023. And this is what Scariest writes about the vocalizations. One whole street outside listening. This has been going on for 4 days now. Last night, someone was screaming for help near the rim. Ask a few of my friends that are outdoorsy people, and they said that's not a bear or a mountain lion. This is located behind the Honda ski shop off of Power Line Road Housing Authority, new project area. Okay, we listened to these, and we've been on a lot of Bigfoot expeditions into the Mogollon Rim of Arizona because of the Bigfoot sightings. These vocalizations are just crazy. Hope you enjoy. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.
Whoa. It's not really anything to see, don't we? It didn't. At first, it sounded like a wolf, but then the way it ended, that didn't sound like a wolf at all. That was creepy. Yeah, at first it sounded like a wolf, but then like ended with that growl. It was creepy. That's weird. I don't know about that one, man. I mean, look, Occam's razor, right, says it's probably some animal out in the wilderness just making animal sounds. But it is a real weird sound. Like, I've heard a lot of animal sounds in my day. That didn't sound like any of them. But I'm no expert, so... Again, another thing I would love to show to somebody. But he did say that whoever gave him this video or took this video showed it to people who were familiar with the wildlife in the area, and they said it didn't sound like a bear or a bobcat. Which, to be fair, I thought it sounded like a wolf. But I'm sure they have wolves in Arizona, right? Yeah, they have Mexican gray wolves in Arizona, so it could have been a wolf, but definitely creepy. I mean, it didn't, like, again, there at the end, when it like growled at the end of that howl, it was just very off-putting. I don't know. Didn't seem like a wolf to me. Could be though.
There is a deadly monster living in Arizona. Among the ponderosa pine forests of the Mogollon Rim, there is a legend of a violent hominid creature making its home there. Meet Mothman monster. This cousin of Bigfoot has been reported to be over 7 feet tall, covered in reddish brown or black hair, with large red eyes and a horrendous smell. In 1903, I.W. Stevens wrote into the Arizona Republican newspaper describing a fearsome beast that he encountered while exploring near the Grand Canyon. It was there that he came across the grisly scene of a hairy humanoid creature with long claws that was feasting on 2 cougars that it had bested in battle. It noticed Stevens and threatened him with a club while letting out an unearthly screech. Stevens managed to barely escape. Decades later, in the 1940s, a man named Don Davis was on a Boy Scout trip near Tonto Creek in Payson when he had a run-in with this creature. One night, while trying to rest in the sleeping bag, a heavy musty odor filled the air, followed by the sound of something rummaging through the camper's belongings. He called out to this large, shadowy figure making the noise, so this thing then walked over and stared at him for a minute before moving on. Davis described it as this very tall and massive ape-like creature that was towering over him, with large, deep-set eyes and an expressionless face. But what do you think? Leave a comment and let me know what state you want to hear about next.
There's Bigfoots everywhere, bro. What's up with this? It's like every state has a Bigfoot. In the comments earlier, I saw somebody saying there was a Bigfoot in Oklahoma. They didn't care about the Oklahoma octopus. They're like, we've got so many Bigfoots. I've never heard of a Bigfoot there. And with that, we're officially halfway through the states and halfway through this video. If you could drop a like for me, I'd really appreciate it. It does help spread the video and grow the channel, which in turn helps grow the Gem Crew community even more. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. All right, back to the wheel. Will you give me a good state? North Dakota, New York? North Dakota, all right. North Dakota, we have the Thunderbird. And it should be noted, Thunderbirds have been spotted or allegedly seen in many different states. So I'm not sure what reasoning they use to list this under North Dakota as opposed to Montana or New Mexico or any of the other states that they've been seen in. But it's probably just to avoid overlap and to get as much differentiation on the list as possible, is my guess. Thunderbirds are massive birds of prey, described as having wingspans as wide as 15 feet. That's nuts. Said to create thunderclaps with their wings. Sightings of these creatures have been reported all across North Dakota. So maybe that's why. There's a lot of sightings there. Their strengths are their immense size and power, which makes them apex predators, capable of lifting large prey. Although it's just got a fish right there, it could probably pick up a human. 15 feet wings, bro? That's crazy. And you all probably know this, but it should be noted that Thunderbirds do come from Native American folklore, a large and respected part of their folklore. So just to put that out there. I believe this is like a piece of jewelry or something that has been found. There's an old Native American piece of jewelry. This was a carving in a stone or a cave wall, I can't really tell. And if you visit North Dakota, you can go see this really cool gazebo Thunderbird statue thing. I don't really know what it is or what purpose it serves other than looking really freaking cool. Thunderbirds tend to avoid heavily populated areas, preferring the open skies and the wilderness. Me too, bro. If you spot a Thunderbird, seek shelter. While they don't typically attack humans, their size and presence can be intimidating.
Guys, part 34, North Dakota, Thunderbird. Lego. The Thunderbird is a legendary creature in certain North America indigenous peoples' history and culture. It is considered a supernatural being of great power. It was called a Thunderbird because when it flew, the force of its wings made a thunderous crash. The Thunderbird would cause storms and destruction according to local legends. And the Thunderbird was said to be so large that it could swoop down and pick up a whale, and it lived mainly in the mountaintops near the clouds. Now, the Thunderbird, as much as it sounds like a Pokemon, has actually been around for hundreds of years, according to Native Americans. This creature has had actually multiple sightings of it trying to pick up people with its talons. Now, a lot of people think this creature is supposed to protect humans, but there's also a lot of conflicting reports. So what do you guys think? Real or?
It does look like a pretty sweet Pokemon, I'm not gonna lie. That would be my starter if I could choose it. Weak to Thunder though. This is Weird Wolf Gaming on TikTok, by the way.
The Thunderbird. In Native American mythology, there's stories of enormous eagles that are strong enough to carry whales back to their nests. And there's been stories all over the United States and Canada of sightings and even attacks from large birds of prey for hundreds of years. The legend goes that the Thunderbird was a benevolent spirit that was so large and powerful that when they flapped their wings, thunder was created. Lightning flashed in their eyes and water fell off their backs, creating rain. There's even an awesome story about a Thunderbird who battled an enormous killer whale. Follow for more like this.
So what are your thoughts on the Thunderbirds of North Dakota? Overgrown eagles, leftover dinosaurs, or just more figments of people's imaginations? I mean, they have them supposedly in a museum somewhere, so they're obviously real. If you live in North Dakota and you've ever seen any giant winged beasts, Please let me know in the comments. But for now, let's bring back the wheel. Wheel time. Illinois. Alright. In Illinois, they have the infield horror, also known as the infield monster. Three-legged beast. Kind of cute. I don't know. The infield horror is a bizarre three-legged creature reported in the small town of Enfield, Illinois. It has glowing red eyes, short arms, and sharp claws, moving in an unnatural hopping motion. That's different. Its strengths are that it is extremely fast and can leap great distances, making it difficult to outrun. Yeah, with 3 legs, you better be able to hop a pretty good distance. And this is the actual, well, whatever. This is the actual place that it supposedly happened. In April of 1973, a young boy is attacked by a very strange creature in his Enfield, Illinois backyard. Soon after, another family encounters an odd creature that tries to break into their house. Who was this horror that stalked people in homes near the Enfield Railroad? I do want to point out, this thing, ugly, man. Look at this. The hell? Yeah, I'd be pretty freaked out if I saw that in my backyard also. Its weaknesses are once again unknown, and although the creature seems to be pretty territorial, it hasn't caused any known injuries to humans. If you encounter the Enfield horror, back away slowly and avoid startling it, but running could provoke a chase. So, go extra slow.
Who knew Illinois would have one of the craziest cryptid stories we've covered so far? Well, maybe more than one, but you decide. In the quiet village of Mount Vernon circa 1940, residents were terrorized by an anomalous leaping beast, vaguely baboon-like, that became known as the Mount Vernon Monster. It could cover 20 to 40 feet in a single bound, leaving locals in fear amid a wake of terminated animals. Fast forward to Enfield, Illinois, 1973, less than 40 miles from the Mount Vernon incident. The town's tranquility shattered when young Greg Garrett claimed a 3-legged, red-eyed creature attacked him. Soon, the McDaniels faced the same horror. Henry McDaniel confronted the beast, firing shots, but it hissed, leaped 50 feet, and vanished. Lauren Coleman, a cryptozoologist, investigated amid skepticism. Media frenzy ensued, and sheriff warnings couldn't deter armed posses. They encountered a hairy variant near the railroad tracks, only managing to capture its eerie scream. Speculations thrived. Extraterrestrial, demonic, or a creature with a 30-year cycle. Although no sightings have been recorded in the years since, maybe the third time was the charm. Comment what you think it could have been, whether you've experienced anything like this.
That's a creepy monkey. Shout out to Fouke Word. Folkingwyrd. Fouke Word. Fouke Weird, I think is what they were going for. See, I don't mind the AIs when they're like that. It actually sounds like a real voice, kinda.
In April of 1973, the quiet town of Enfield, Illinois was shaken by a series of eerie and terrifying encounters with a creature that came to be known as the Enfield Monster. It all began when Henry McDaniel reported seeing a strange beast outside his home, describing it as having 3 legs, short arms, with claws and large pink eyes. McDaniel claimed it could jump great lengths, covering up to 75 feet in a single bound. The sighting sparked a wave of fear and curiosity, leading to further reports from other residents who described similar encounters. A young boy named Greg Garrett claimed to have been attacked by this beast while playing in his backyard. Despite police searches and investigations, no evidence was found to explain the sighting, leaving the mystery of the Enfield monster unsolved. Whatever this creature is, it has not been reported in almost 50 years. Have you heard of this creepy story?
Look, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard the Enfield horror on this list, I thought it was gonna be a ghost haunting, because it sounds like something that reminds me of a ghost haunting, and I can't place it, so maybe you guys know, let me know. But this is probably the first one on this list, and we're on number 27 or something, but this is the first one that is legitimately horrifying. Like, that thing looks like something out of Alien, the movie, the horror movie. It definitely looks like, it looks like something from the underworld and Stranger Things. It looks like one of the monsters in The Last of Us. This dude is legitimately creepy. 3 legs, bro? You know, tripod ass out of here. I'll kick you in your freaking head, bro. Knock your freaking eyes straight. If anybody can tell me what movie that's from, I would give you a high five.
I'm gonna bust your ass like Craig did. Knock your fucking eyes straight.
Yeah, Enfield horror, Enfield monster. Super terrifying. I hope this one isn't real. That poor kid that had to see that thing in his backyard, man. What do you do? There's nothing you can do. It's unprecedented land, right? Like, you don't be like, oh, no, that wasn't real. monsters aren't real. They are. It was in my backyard. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Mom, there's a monster under my bed. No, you know monsters aren't. No, I know monsters are real. That's why I think there's one under my bed. Fuck, it's horrifying. What do you guys think? Is this some underworld creature that's creeping around in Illinois somewhere? Or was that kid just making stuff up for attention? And then like, I know I keep going back to my theory about interdimensional beings and everything, but you know, if there are aliens out there, there's probably a lot of different kinds of aliens out there, and you gotta imagine some of them probably aren't very friendly. Just like there's all kinds of people out in the world, and some of them aren't very nice. Probably all kinds of things out in the universe too, and some of them probably aren't very nice. So maybe this is just an alien. He probably popped in to scare the crap out of that kid to alter the course of his life for some reason. And at this point, I'm just making stuff up. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. So you know what that means? Bring back the wheel. Trace Mas Statos. Come on, Wilbur. South Dakota. Hey, we did North Dakota and South Dakota in this episode. Nice. All right, South Dakota has their own Bigfoot. The one and only Takuhi. Takuhi? I think it's Takuhi. I like his top hat. Takuhi is a Bigfoot-like creature from Native American folklore. Said to roam the Black Hills of South Dakota, it is covered in thick fur and stands over 8 feet tall. It would be a Bigfoot. In its strengths, you'll never be able to guess this, but it's very strong and can move through dense forests quickly. You see what I'm saying about all this overlap? Like, these things gotta be related, right? It doesn't appear to have any known weaknesses other than it avoids human settlements and it is rarely seen. If you suspect a Takuhi is nearby, remain calm and leave the area quietly. It's more interested in avoiding you than attacking. Like all these other ones. They just want to be left alone, man. And you know my boy Weird Wolf Gaming's got us covered on this.
All right, guys. Sorry for the delay. We're back at it. Part 41, South Dakota, the Takuhi. Let's go. Now, believe it or not, South Dakota's most famous mythical creature is not the jackalope, as some might have thought. So may I present to you the Takuhi, the Mount Rushmore state version of, well, you may know, Bigfoot. Now, of course, when people see this creature, it's actually seen more in open fields, dragging dead prey behind it, or it simply stares back at the person staring at it. Also, to make things more bizarre, there are many mysterious deaths linked to the 8-foot monster. The Takuhi is also linked to many of the mutilations of animals in the area, and to top it off, many of the people that go camping in South Dakota disappear. So what do you guys think? Real or fake? You decide.
Huh. Something that just occurred to me that I've never really thought of before. But we have stories from history of giants and Nephilim, or you know, whatever you want to call them. What if these are left over them? And to be fair, somebody in the comments did say that recently on one of my last videos, that these are all left over like Nephilim. So shout out to you for saying that. I think that's what just gave me that thought. But I hadn't thought about, like, you know, there's a story in the Bible of David and Goliath, and you know, we've got all these stories of supposedly there used to be a race of giants on Earth. What if they're still here and they're just Bigfoots? Dang, that's crazy. There's not a lot of Takuhi videos out there, so we're gonna have to use some of these AI ones. South Dakota Takuhi. Maybe this one's not AI. Contrary to the appearance, this creature is not as civilized as it appears. In the 1970s, there apparently were several times that this creature tore the genitals off of local cattle. What? This creature has mostly been spotted in wide open areas such as fields. According to witnesses, it stares creepily and is usually dragging some sort of dead prey behind it. This creature is often seen in a coat and top hat and highly resembles Bigfoot. What? He actually wears a top hat? Hold up. We got Bigfoots out there with fashion sense? Bro, this is my kind of Bigfoot. This is what I'm talking about. I was wearing a coat and a top hat. He wants to look nice. He's not scary. He just wants to look dapper. I can get behind that. So what do you guys think about the Takuhi? Is he out there terrorizing South Dakota? This Cyclops Bigfoot? I don't know why he's a Cyclops in this picture, actually. Probably because it's AI and it's not always accurate. But I didn't see any reports of him being a Cyclops. But this picture's fun. But that is the Takuhi of South Dakota. You know what that means? Bring me my wheel. All right, just hang in there, Spinny boy. We're almost done for the day. New Jersey. All right, well, you guys may have heard of this one. New Jersey is home to the famed or infamous Jersey Devil, named for obvious reasons. The Jersey Devil is one of the most famous cryptids in the USA, said to live in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. It's described as having a horse-like head, bat wings, hooved feet, and a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream, which is pretty horrifying. It's a weird collection of animal parts. And I'm not sure who did this depiction of the Jersey Devil, but they made him look like a doofus. It's cute. It's a good drawing, I like it, but this is not very scary. Its strengths are that the Jersey Devil can fly and move quickly through the dense forest, making it difficult to track. While terrifying, the creature rarely attacks humans and is more of an ominous presence than a physical threat. If you hear the Jersey Devils scream, don't panic. Stay in groups and move towards open areas where you're less likely to encounter it. I think I forgot to say it earlier. We watched one of his videos earlier in this video. It's Psychopoly. He was in the first 2 parts as well, I believe. I think I use his videos in there. But yeah, he does really good content on all these topics and more. So go check his stuff out, Psychopoly.
The Jersey Devil. According to legend, when a woman in 1736 found out she was going to have her 13th kid, she cursed the child, saying it was going to be the devil. When the time came for her to give birth, the child came out normal, but then suddenly changed into a horrifying hooved creature with a goat head, bat wings, and forked tail before flying up the chimney into the woods, where it is now said to inhabit and haunt anyone who enters the Pine Woods in southern New Jersey. Some even say this is a real trail cam picture of it. Have you seen it?
Wait, so this thing was birthed by a woman? Yeah, that sounds like some shit they'd believe in the 1700s. No, this is somebody, I haven't watched this video yet, but they say that this is the Jersey Devil spotted in South Jersey near the Pine Barrens, so. Bro, if it does a jump scare. Is that albino deer? Well, I don't think that was the Jersey Devil. Everyone's saying it's a white stag, but isn't a stag a male deer? Don't they have horns? Yeah, the adult male of various deer, which I guess it could have been a stag that shed its antlers, but I don't think that's a stag. I think that's a doe. But the comments are all saying that apparently there's white deer all over New Jersey. I had no idea. That's pretty cool. Isn't that like a good omen if you see that? It's supposed to be like good luck or something if you see a white stag, or if you see a white deer. Probably just some other crap from the 1700s, to be honest, but.
The Jersey Devil is a horrific creature that roams throughout the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. People often describe it as a goat's body, with giant bat wings and a horse head. Its origins point back to a legend in the 18th century about the Jersey Devil being the son of an evil witch.
Oh,
sightings of this beast have been reported for centuries, making it one of the oldest American cryptid legends. In 1909, a wave of multiple sightings caused mass hysteria and led to school closures in New Jersey. We can only theorize the Jersey Devil's purpose, with some people saying he is much like that of a bad omen or demon. The Pine Barrens is also a very strange place, with numerous incidents of people who have gone missing to other reports of strange lights in the sky. Many campers report horrific sounds coming from the woods within the Pine Barrens. Locals claim there is no denying there is something very strange occurring in those woods. Could this creature be from a different realm, or is this all just a giant hoax?
I didn't know she was supposed to be a witch, but you know, 200-year-old story, things are gonna get changed up a little bit. Well, I will say there's lots of people in the comments of all these videos saying that they live there and they confirm. Most of these videos have been like, I've lived here all my life, I've never heard of this. And this one, there's multiple comments on every one of these videos saying that they've seen it. So, dude, I don't know. One thing I will say, if these things can fly, they got such big wings, why do they stay in New Jersey? Do what everybody else in New Jersey does and go to Florida. So what do you think of the Jersey Devil? Is this some unloved child that was cursed and banished to live out his days in the woods as a dragon, goat, bat, horse hybrid thing? Or is this just people in the 1700s making crap up like they like to do? I bet living in the days where fact-checking wasn't a thing were pretty great. You could just say whatever you wanted to anybody and people are gonna believe it 200 years later. I would be willing to bet the first person that told that story, they went and told 5 other people about how they just told some crazy story to somebody and they believed it. But again, hey, all these people in the comments on TikTok saying that they've seen it, and some of them saying they have witnesses, they had people with them, so dude, I don't know, maybe it's out there. All right, one last time, give me my wheel. New Jersey, you can get out of here, you're done. You're done, bud.
He didn't follow Proto, buddy. You're done.
Give me a good one. 21. California. Let's go. I think what did we get? Right here, my very own state of California, we have, you may remember, the Fresno Nightcrawlers. These things are so creepy. Like, I remember when this video first dropped and I watched it 100 times probably. So it was, like, I was trying to debunk it. I tried my hardest. I tried really hard to be like, that could be a person in a suit if they're standing like this. No, it doesn't make any damn sense, and we'll watch a video here in a second. But the Fresno nightcrawlers are one of the strangest cryptids ever reported, described as long-legged, stick-like figures with no discernible torso or arms. First captured on surveillance footage in Fresno, California, these eerie creatures walk in a bizarre, floating manner and seem to glide silently across the ground. This is a still from the original surveillance footage of the Fresno nightcrawlers, and I feel like most of you have probably seen the video I'm talking about. We will watch it here in a second. I'll pull it up. But yeah, do you guys remember these things? So creepy. Its strengths are their unsettling movements and lack of any clear physical structure, and it make them difficult to categorize or understand. Their elusiveness has left investigators with little evidence beyond strange videos. Yeah, man. This is probably a freaking alien race out there. This was them visiting once. They appear to be harmless and haven't reported to show any aggressive behavior or interaction with humans. But again, we know nothing about these things. So, you know, who's to say that they're not out there messing people up, and we just don't know it because we don't know how to spot signs of them doing something. We know nothing about them. It's such a trip, dude. If you encounter a Fresno nightcrawler, it's best to simply observe from a safe distance. Also record. With no signs of hostility, these cryptids seem more like harmless, otherworldly visitors than threats. Like I said, just be ready to grab your camera. If you can catch them in action, you might just have the next viral video. I hope I see them. I'm gonna be selfie videoing with it. You see these motherfuckers out here? TikTok, of course, has no shortage of nightcrawler videos, so. Person supposedly spotted a nightcrawler. I haven't seen this one. Whoa. A little thing. Look at him. What's it doing? Like there's nothing moving. It's not like could it be a light or something? Like a reflection of a light? I don't know if it's a nightcrawler, but it's certainly weird. A little baby nightcrawler, how cute.
Real horrifying creatures. The Fresno Nightcrawler. This creature has made 2 appearances, both being in California, although one is speculated to be from Poland. These creatures are pretty short, with most of their height coming from their legs. They are bright white and they have no discernible arms. The first time these creatures were spotted was by a man named Jose. He was woken up by his dogs barking, and once he checked the CCTV, this is what he saw. Keep in mind, by the time investigators got there, they deleted everything, but his brothers claimed to see footprints outside, and we still have this video that has almost been proven not to be tampered with.
This strange creature was captured on camera in Sweden. Ew. It looks like Groot. It is seemingly bipedal and quite tall. People say it is very reminiscent of the Fresno nightcrawler. Kinda, but it's like the same shape, but why does it have the flowy pants? What do you think, real or fake? Like the Fresno nightcrawlers had like what looked to be like MC Hammer pants or something.
I think I might know what the Fresno nightcrawler is. To preface this, I did think it was like a 6-foot worm until just now. So I watched this video.
Making my way downtown, walking fast.
And I was like, wait, this looks like fighting deer.
Yeah, I can see it, kind of does, but there was 2 of them.
Can anybody else see it, or is it just me?
Making my way downtown, walking fast.
I mean, yes, I will give it to her. It does kind of look like fighting deer, but it's very clear you can make out the shape and stuff. Like you can make out the shape, and you can see that there's like something flowy, like sheet-like. And maybe if it wasn't walking in like a straight line, I might be able to buy her theory a little more. But there you have it, folks. 30 states down, 20 states to go. Has your state made the list? Or are you gonna be in one of the next episodes? Don't forget to join me every day in October for TikToktober at 4:15 p.m. PST, where I'll be dropping a brand new video every single day for the month of October. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can check out any of the links in the description. Some of them are affiliate links, so I'll get a small commission if you buy anything using the link. One of them's for my merch store, one of them's for my Patreon. Go check out any of those if you'd like to support the channel any further. Or just keep tuning in right here on YouTube. That's always appreciated as well. Don't forget to drop a like for me. It does help spread the channel to more people, and in turn help the Gem Crew community grow even larger. And I'll be dropping the last 2 parts of this series randomly, so turn on the notification bell so you don't miss one. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. I love you. So until next time. stay creepy.